Hey everyone, my name is Mohsin and I'm going to present paper titled Language Game for Journalism course. Well, this paper actually talks about an algorithm and a game, guessing game that is based on this language game, and then they actually develop a pet robot that is actually doing a couple of 3 or 4 tasks. So I'll just give you now overview of that because it's going to be quite more complex. So this paper was proposed in 2001. So at that time, they were expecting that the pet robots will soon enter, are currently entering the market, but like humanoid robots will follow. But the success of these projects is based on like if we can design a flexible grounded dialogue system between a human or a robot or between 2 robots. So that's the key question that we might discuss here. So what are the key challenges while when we are in this topic? So vision and speech, like we have to recognize what our robot can view or what we can listen to a specific speaker. Then action planning according to those inputs, the execution of plans, learning, which is of course a part of the artificial intelligence, or you can call it self-learning. Integration, like we can have different computational viewpoint, like maybe we can have different languages operating on different machines or different devices, and then we can have different AI algorithms that are actually implementing different way of behaving things after certain actions. So the integration between them is very important for this open-ended dialogue. And then grounding problems, like we can have some signals and then we can have some pattern recognition, like for example, if a user wants to get something from the table, so he might give you only one word hint or maybe like a complete sentence, so you have to recognize what actually he's talking about. So solution to those problems, key challenges, the language games which actually integrate all those viewpoints, computational or AI viewpoints, also supporting the grounding symbolic representations, like maybe different languages or different accents. That is adapted to the environment, of course. Like, and then the acquisition of concept, like if a user, the listener should know what the speaker is talking about with reference to the context, like whatever the concept or thing or the topic is there, so it should not go out of that topic. And learning languages and negotiation in that language. Then the guessing game that actually implemented in this paper. But the guessing game is like there are some people sitting on a table, or maybe a speaker and listener that where we're gonna implement our program or system. So if one speaker say a certain word like salt, so the listener should realize that that speaker wants salt, so he might do some certain action according to that word, or maybe like on that word. So further is described like there are 5 main points in this guessing game. First is shared attention. So if the speaker might not say something, but with gestures might point out a word salt or maybe some specific things, so reader can act according to that after reading gestures. And then the behavior of the speaker might not only say a word, but with the behavior he can point out what, like after saying salt, he might like place his hand like this, that he needs salt. So, or maybe he wants very salt. So we can figure out, the listener should figure out. And then listener's behavior. Once the word is, listener listens the word, he might have an association in memory or might not have an association in memory. So in that case, if he has an association in memory, the listener will behave the highest rank one with the highest rank one. If you don't get it, then like it can ask for again, like re-ask for that question or that word, or maybe like if you still don't find it, the points will be deducted from listeners. Then feedback, once listener behave with a certain memory, then you might get the correct or incorrect reference. Like you get the correct reference, the points will be increased and from the speaker to speaker and vice versa. Then acquiring a new conceptualization, like if that concept was not previously in memory of both speaker and listener, in that scenario they will acquire that. Here we can have the self-learning part. So based on this game, they actually in this paper they develop a pet dog that was doing like 4 or 5 actions, sitting, walking, and these type of steps. So conclusion, like if we talk about dialogue right now, we have used C in 4S. I haven't used it, but I heard about it. So we can have quite an open-ended dialogue sort of in it. And the Sony SDR they were using here, that is based on that robot that was the pet robot. But if we talk about the actions of humanoid robots, then we might have problems with, like, we have seen some movies with artificial intelligence glitches and problems. So maybe that could be the issue. But right now we are at the stage of C, but we might in years might go to the actually acting robots. Questions?
Well, you have mentioned about guessing game and symbolic representation. From at least the author point of view, how do you compile this?
Okay, like we want to compile, we have to of course define an algorithm, like that we can have a different languages compiler already running, and then we can have AI implementation in that. In that way, we need a speaker and a listener where we are actually implementing both of the algorithms, and it has self-learning as well.
So the guessing game, what it can guess?
It can just like, currently it is not very vast. The paper they were presenting was not that vast, but like, for example, on a table, there is a speaker and a listener. He asks for a red ball. So the listener should realize that there is a red ball on the table. So the listener might want towards that red ball. That the specific action that is like expected. Or if there is no action, then they will figure out the next time I'll say red ball, what the action should be.
Yeah.
So it's more like language games, like how to learn a language or this stuff. But in this paper it's very precise. If you are asking for red ball, there should not be any other red thing on that table.